Welcome back, viewers. You're still watching The Press, and we've now been joined by our guest, engineer Toba Owojaiye, who's a public affairs analyst, to help us analyze on most of the top stories we read out to you earlier. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much. I love your native.
Oh, thank you. It's so nice to have you again. It's been a while.
We are patronizing Nigerian goods.
Yeah, absolutely. Buy Nigeria, wear Nigeria.
Yes.
Good to have you in the studio again.
Thank you very much.
All right, viewers, this is also the segment where our phone lines are now open for you to call in and join the conversation as it progresses this morning. Engineer Toba, how are you doing today?
Fine. We're still in Nigeria.
Right. I'm sure you already know what's going on. You already know about the current petrol prices and all of the crisis on ground. And in fact, in as much as I don't want to link these two together, I see this huge headline on the Punch that says petrol crisis threaten election as APC PDP set for showdown in Edo State. But that's on one side. Let's talk about what's happening between Dangote Refinery and the NNPCL Limited. There's been conversation of, oh, they sold petrol to us at 898 naira, and we're likely going to be selling in some locations like Lagos for 950 naira per litre, and in places like Maiduguri for 1,050 naira per litre. And Dangote is saying we didn't sell up to that, though we transacted in dollars. That's a different bone of contention. And another thing is, Ipman is saying you shouldn't sell petrol that you got in Nigeria higher than the ones you import. Let's take your thoughts on this too.
It's a tough one for Nigeria and a tough one for Dangote because he had already imported crude from abroad. The crude he's going to use that is selling now is not crude he got from Nigeria. So these are the backlogs of business. The crude he got was crude that was imported. In all the drag back and forth, they have been able to establish some amount of crude for him. You know how Nigerian things sometimes drag. They approve waiver for rice, and it takes another 2 months before the waiver finally kicks in. As at today, I cannot even tell you that the waiver has finally kicked in. So sometimes when they say that, it has not kicked in, it has been announced, it has not kicked in. So it will still affect what he buys if he imported what he wants to sell from USA. It will still affect that pricing. Now, that's why he said because the transaction took place in dollars, meaning that he has still not gotten what he needs for his Naira transactions. Where I want Nigeria and Nigerians to focus is that as at Sunday, for the first time, we have lifted fuel in Nigeria. We now have a Nigerian company in Nigeria producing fuel. This is the root of our problems. Now, do I think Dangote and NNPC is being transparent to us? The answer is no. It's a big no. Because the double speak from both sides tell us that there's something the both sides don't want to say. Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah, so we see Dangote say a half statement. The NNPC states a half statement. Why is Dangote selling to NNPC? Why can't Dangote sell directly? These are all the matters that have not been answered till today. Dangote is selling cement. Is there somebody he's selling cement to first before he sells to us? These are the matters we need to discuss. These are the problems on ground. If there's a third party that is padding the cost of fuel between Dangote and us, it can only happen in a setting where he's selling through NNPC. So all of this needs to be clarified. All the journalists, all the analysts and activists need to keep speaking out on this with facts until we are sure that fuel from Nigeria is produced in Nigeria and sold to Nigerians at the most competitive and affordable cost. This is where we must be. But today it is a victory. We have a Nigerian refinery producing fuel. Let me also add something on the side. The MD of the Port Harcourt refinery said they have started mechanical processes since December, but that when they hit their machines to produce and they got to 300 degrees Celsius, which they need to get to like 500, the machines began to malfunction. And so that they do not lose all the components, they had to start back and they are redoing the process. That is not good enough. That is poor. That is enough reason for him to either be fired or for an audit to be put on ground. Because if those equipment spoil, who is going to replace them again? You're going to tell us another story. Why didn't the same thing happen with Dangote? These are the matters. See, what we need is transparency. We don't have transparency. And there's a reason government and business people are not giving us transparency. And the people must continue speaking until we get transparency. Why is Dangote selling to NNPC? NNPC doesn't use fuel. We use fuel. Let Dangote sell to the people, because other people who want to invest in this sector are looking at us. Yeah. Let's say I have 20 billion and I also want to invest in fuel. And Nigeria is the biggest fuel market in the world.
Of course.
So now I look at that and I see the way they've handled Dangote. Why will I want to come in?
You know, that's something I wanted to talk about. Like, why the monopoly of NNPC Limited? That on one side. Secondly, why would they transact in dollar? Is it our legal tender? Because it keeps weakening our naira. Why would they do proper transactions in naira? You're getting fuel from a Nigerian company, and you're paying them in dollars.
I clarified that earlier, that the crude Dangote, the crude you get in today, is not the crude that comes out the same day. You understand? It's a production system.
Okay.
So it's not like as if the crude that enters today comes out today.
Very well.
It's what you have bought and processed that may take another 2 weeks for it to come out on the processing end. The crude they bought
was not from Nigeria. I know. So does that justify
those were dollar
Does that not justify that because you bought in dollar, you must sell in dollars? Because it's more like if I have to buy things from outside the country to come and sell here, people who import goods and services, they import them in dollars. They don't spend naira out there. You see, but they bring it back here and they sell in naira.
Yes.
So why would they do that kind of transaction here? At that kind of volume, why would they use dollars to do that kind of transaction?
That's what I'm saying. We'll end up with the same subsidy if we follow this path. And we have to kill it. Let me explain.
Okay.
You said this is the cost in Nigeria. Now I find out that other countries can buy my fuel because it's a dollar, it's a globally dollarized business rating. Not that it has to be in the dollars, but you weigh what it costs in other countries in dollars. So this is my business. I can now decide that, okay, fuel is more profitable for me to sell to USA than to sell to Nigeria. It is my fuel. It is my company. So these are the realities. How much is Dangote producing? They got his initial crude from USA. Has he sold up that stock? Has Nigeria started giving him crude that he bought in naira? These are the things that must be clarified first. Like I told you about waivers on rice that has been announced for 2 months and yet it has not been implemented.
A few days ago I saw that federal government begins selling of 40,000 naira rice to non-citizens, non-civil servants. That was just yesterday. And I'm wondering, this has been an announcement for a very long time. I know viewers calling and they're like, we've not seen where to get the rice for 40,000 naira. Somebody still called me yesterday and said, we've not seen where the rice is being sold for 40,000 naira for 50 kg, so we can go get ours. It's really hard. Yeah, so you see, this is why I'm saying that we have a lot of administrative bottlenecks. We have a good idea. To get it to even come to fruition is one thing. To get it to start working is a completely new ball game. There's too much drag to even get good things going on. But like what I've said, finally we have a Nigerian refinery that is working. Let's not lose the positives. Dangote is producing. If we're able to remove Dangote from NNPC, let Dangote sell his crude, his fuel to Nigeria. Let Nigeria supply Dangote crude. We have other refineries coming up. BOA is building his in Cross River and it's going well. We have 2 other refineries that Nigeria has worked on again and wants to sell off to private hands. Just make the process transparent. That's all we're asking for. Call for people to bid for these refineries.
and give them the terms. Once they buy it off, release crude to them. Let's reduce the areas in which there's bunkering. Bunkering is not a spiritual process. It's a very human, physical process. There are big stakeholders in the bunkering businesses. I won't go too far, but there will surely be traditional rulers, ex-governors,
that are benefactors.
many people, military heads or parastatals that are allegedly involved. Because you cannot tell me that you cannot find where a pipe linked into a bigger pipe. It can't be hidden. It can't be spiritual. No, we must get to this point. This is what is wrong with Nigeria. We allow a lot of this. We make it sound like as if the pipe just had an invisible hose that leaks out this fuel. This hose was welded to it. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yes, so these are the things. Inspect it. Put drones. These are the matters. We must, and then you see, you cannot do all of. If you do all of that to the fuel, it's an injustice when you don't do that to gold in Zamfara.
Absolutely.
These are the matters.
And the Zamfara state governor said he has stopped mining until further notice. So I wanted to quickly take that call, but I lost it. Let's go ahead. Okay,
so these are the matters. Why will you stress that the people in the south, in the creeks, should not benefit from bunkering, while in Zamfara, the government declared a no-fly zone in a place where there's no airport? So what was flying?
I wonder. Hello, good morning. Good morning, you're welcome to the press. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Raimi, please go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
The highest I expect from our government is that...
Mr. Raimi, your voice is
Can you
not
speak up,
very
sir?
loud today.
Is it?
Your voice is not very loud today. Can you get closer to your phone?
Okay.
Yes.
Can you hear me better?
Better,
Yes,
yes.
Okay. The highest I expect from the government regarding the DANGOTE refinery
Yes.
is to tell them you can't sell above so price.
A benchmark, yes.
There should be nothing like you can't sell below so price. I've never heard that.
There has to be a benchmark.
I don't know, how can you tell a businessman you can't sell below? What if I want to sell below to gain more customers? So you can say, okay, in favor of Nigeria, and for the fact that we are giving you this product, this raw product, you can't sell above so price to Nigeria. If you want to sell to foreigners like that, you are free to go ahead and do that. But for the fact that you are in our land, we give you this product, you can't sell above this. That is one. Two, I have said it countless times and I'll continue to say it. Nigeria problem is beyond what anybody is saying or what we understand. Until we go back to the root and resolve what was wrong with our foundation, whatever we are doing, we've been a dresser. It will never be the solution to the basic. Like, for example, this flood in Maiduguri and other places. How did it come about? All these figures we are hearing that have been released before now, what was done to those money? How come we have not seen anybody punished for misusing the fund? How come everybody is keeping quiet, including the traditional rulers? So there are too many issues to be resolved.
So many unanswered questions.
And in the position, and even traditional rulers, they are just for themselves. They are never there in favor of Nigeria. Look at the whole mess in the north.
Right.
The whole mess in the north. You will never hear any traditional ruler, even the so-called sultan. You will never hear him come out. You will never hear him mention anybody as their problem.
All right.
They always want to put everything on Nigeria government. Nobody wants to take blame.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you for your contributions. Mr. Rahim has said a lot, and that's the same thing a lot of people have been complaining about. why not place a benchmark of do not go beyond this? Because we know that petrol tends to affect every aspect of our lives, every single aspect. It affects the food, because there is not, you can't even tell yourself that I wouldn't need petrol. Maybe because you say I don't run on gen, but you have to transport. If you do not transport yourself, you transport your goods. You transport, that's your source of livelihood. So some way, somehow, you need it. It's important. So which means that this is the aspect that the government needs to look into. But in all of this, we've not even heard anything from the federal government.
You see, this is why I'm a supporter and a proponent for production, which is why I said this is a gain.
And we must also remember that the president himself is the Minister of Petroleum.
Yes.
And yet his people are screaming.
Yes, but this is what my point. Until we have production, every treatment we do to this matter will be cosmetic, will be a makeup. It won't affect the beauty of the situation. It will be makeup. It will be plastic. What we need is production. In fuel, we need to produce crude in Nigeria. We do that. We need to increase the production of crude in Nigeria. We do that. We need to refine in Nigeria. We do that. Agric, we need to farm in Nigeria. We have started doing that again, but not to the highest of our. See, if you don't produce, there's nothing you are going to be competitive with. We don't even need a benchmark for lowest or highest. If we have production, there was a time in this country when if you drive into a filling station, the filling station will clean your windshield as a competition against other filling stations. Because every filling station had fuel. Now, when every filling station has fuel, you will see them beckoning on you to come to their filling station. If it continues like that, you will see where they will fix a drive-through car wash as a free. Without production, anything we are saying, if you say you should benchmark it at the top, what if the price of dollar goes up? It will still affect the cost of doing business. It will still affect the. See, what we need, the solution to Nigeria's problem is production and transparency. We don't have transparency, we don't have production. This media house is doing well because this media house continues producing content every day. The day your content becomes unstable, you are on now and then they take light and then you don't have light, you don't have backup, people start doubting the ability to tune to your station and get consistent, high quality content. This is the same thing with Nigeria. Dangote has started producing, it is a gain. After the first time he started producing diesel and aviation, the price was very, very high. In less than 1 month, what happened? The price came down. So I'm not really perturbed by all of this beginning drama, but it's taking long. Let him start producing. Once he starts producing and his fuel supplies, what I've heard is that the quantity he will produce will not be enough to immediately supply the whole of Nigeria. So NNPC will still have to augment with some imported fuel for a while. As that goes on, he will keep increasing the quantity he's producing. They will keep reducing the quantity they are importing. This is the way forward until Dangote is able to fully produce for us. After that, we will now have the NNPC refinery, Kaduna refinery come up. By that time, nobody can do us guy. By that time, Boa has his refinery. We'll be supplying the whole of Africa. This is where the Nigerian currency will begin to grow because they will begin to demand for Nigerian production. See, let me tell you something.
This sounds like a dream.
No, let me show you the indications.
Please go ahead.
Are you aware that some of the best banks in Ghana, in Botswana, are Nigerian banks?
Yes.
Yes. GTB is doing very well in some other African countries. Some of the greatest, because the banking sector in Nigeria is doing really well. They have the excellence, they have the competence, they have the structure, they have the manpower, they have the production, they have the discipline, they have the training of staff, they have the process to retrain staff. One staff leaves, another staff takes over. It's there. We have started exporting spreading our tentacles to other African countries with our banking system. It's going to go on. It's also going on with our music. It's also going on with our movies. All of these parts are not because of government is in those areas. It's because the people of Nigeria are producing and producing excellently. I know people who are abroad who love Nigerian movies. We can be great at producing, but all these bottlenecks will stop us if we don't get to producing. We have started producing, let's continue producing. We will deal with Dangote or NNPC or anybody as it goes on.
All right, we hope that the hope is in sight. Well, Engineer Toba, there's also something very funny that I saw on the headlines that says, I think literally all of the headlines says inflation dropped to 32.15% in the month of August. It was very funny because we're not seeing the impact of that drop. So sometimes I wonder what the statistics are for some of those drops. Because on the front page of The Guardian, it says fuel is at 950 naira per litre. Price of rice is at 95,000 naira per bag. Beans is 230,000 naira per bag. Yam 6,000 per tuber. Gari 56,000 naira. Pepper 100,000 naira for a basket. And then a loaf of bread is 1,800 naira. Let's just say on the average, because there are some of them that are even higher. So
and some are lower.
Thank you. Oh, lower. Well, I've not found the lower one. We also know that transport fare has increased by over 50%. And to fuel your tank now, you probably be spending nothing less than the minimum wage, 70,000 naira. So, where is this inflation drop?
Yeah, it's very. They said in the month of August.
Yes.
Okay,
I don't think we felt it even in August.
That was before this next.
But as at August, we were already buying fuel for that high.
Yes, well, I'm just saying that before that next increment. See,
yes.
Inflation can be halted by production. The concept in Ministry of Agri to sell rice for 40,000 is my idea, but it has not been followed through with the exact modalities I gave. I mentioned it here before then, and I told you I'll take it to them. So this is not a new idea to me, but they've not followed it step by step, and it's still going to fail in some aspects until they follow it step by step.
If it's not already failing, because the Nigerians are needed the most.
Yes, we have to follow it. You see, people don't understand that an idea has to be well thought out. We can improve production. See, you see, once you don't fix production, we give these people the chance to keep on lying and to keep on cheating and to keep on using middlemen to keep deceiving us. This must be fixed from production. We are not producing enough. We have taken so many other cosmetic jobs apart from production. Social media is doing very well. Are you aware that the POS is the highest employer of labor in Nigeria?
I know.
POS is the highest employer of labor in Nigeria. Highest. These are the areas that are functioning. If we make other areas of production, the problem with food is that we eat food every day. Whether you are complaining about Nigeria yesterday or you are complaining today or this evening, you will have to eat after you finish shouting. And this food cannot be succumbed. It has to be planted, processed, harvested, transported, and sold through the middleman to the retailers to you. It can't just up and disappear. These are the issues we have on ground.
It's an entire channel. Hello, good morning. Hello? Oh, sorry, we lost that call. In as much as this food inflation, okay, another one is coming in. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome to the press. Sir. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Awusko and I'm calling from Kaduna.
All right, Mr. Awusko, please join the conversation.
You see, the killing of the petroleum sector, especially the NNPC, was deliberate, and it was done by the cabal so that the refineries they have abroad will be refining their oil and they'll be making billions. How long are they going to live on earth to be making all this money? And when they die, how would they carry a penny? They should realize everything will be left here on earth. What's the big deal about refining? We have boys in the curve of the Niger Delta refining oil there. They said they're going to give us modular refinery. Since APC came, they've not been able to build one. For 8 years, Buhari was not able to build one. How can we continue like that? Tinubu came and remove the subsidy. And subsidy is the problem of the quagmire we are in now. Now Dangote is coming to rescue the situation, and NNPC is saying they are going to monopolize. They are the one to decide the price. How is it done that way? From this, looking at these things, you know that these people are not serious. They are just taking us for a ride. And I'm telling them, a day will come. A day of reckoning will come. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for your contribution. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Please go ahead.
Yeah, it's Raimi calling back. I just want to remind the guest that
Yes.
he has dodged the question.
Yes.
The question is, the government is telling us based on their statistics that inflation has reduced in August. Can you, based on the information available to you, tell us what happened, at what point, and where was the effect of that reduction in inflation? Because before now, in July, you know the price of things. Before you know, it shoots up in August. So at what point did we get the inflation reduced? And this is supposed to be the farm, the period where we get farm produce. If we are having this kind of price now, by the time the farm produce have been consumed, finished, what do you think we are going to have? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution, Mr. Rahim. Let's quickly take this one. Hello, good morning. Hello. Please go ahead, and Mr. Rahim brought back my question to your table again, which is the facts.
I do not have all the facts about the cost, the rate of inflation. It doesn't mean that there was no inflation. Do you understand?
Yes.
It means that wait. It means that the rate of increase was not as much as other months. It is possible that the rate, see, you may just be looking at one product.
No, we're not looking at one product.
Or two products.
We just touched on the majority of the things that reflects inflation prices, which is food.
I understand. I was not the one. I was not the one that gave the statistics for the other months when it increased.
Absolutely.
So if you believed the other months, then why wouldn't you believe that when you didn't create the statistics of the other months? You see, this is the problem we have in Nigeria. We believe that everything must continuously be bad.
No, that's not it.
That's I'm trying to correct that perspective. The months in which it was as high as 40% and we believed it.
Okay.
We didn't argue with it.
Do you know the funniest part? Even with the fact that it was as high as 40%, people still say, are you sure it's not higher than 40%? That's one thing. Then when you now tell us that, as at 40%, it had dropped to 32%, that's telling us that 8% drop when we do not even experience any sort of drop when we go to the market to buy anything. How would you justify that kind of conversation?
I would justify it by the fact that the people who did the statistics over the months in which you believed also did the statistics, and they would do for the next month.
And you're not feeling the impact. How can you justify that?
Let me explain. You see, I'm not emotional about.
Yeah, I know. This is not an emotional conversation too.
Yes, it's emotional because we're following facts.
No, what I'm saying is there are figures, but the question is, just as I said earlier, that there's this headline that says 404 million people have been sacked because of flooding in Nigeria. And I said, what's the statistics to get 404 million? How many are we as the entire population?
Yes, and we both said it cannot be true because we don't
Thank you. But that's a figure coming from World Bank. I don't know if there's an error or something coming from World Bank. Would you say that in the times past that their figures have not been correct? That's on one side.
I told you that.
So there are situations where people would then come and give us figures that we will question, because it doesn't mean that they are entirely perfect.
Yes, we have the right
because we see it in the market. We do not experience the sort of reduction that they say it's existing.
I am not questioning the statistics. Everybody has a point to his opinion on the statistics. Whoever believes that 32% is not real should believe it. Whoever believes it is at 70% should believe it. Whoever believes it's at 0% should believe it. It's not. Let's
quickly take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my sister. My
name is Mazo Krap from Arusuku.
Mazo Korafo, good morning. You're welcome to the press. Please join the conversation.
Yeah, honestly speaking, the students have gone back to school.
How?
Just only 45%. Many are still hanging because many of them transportation fee, many of them school fees, many of them books.
Many of them price hike in school fees.
Yes, in terms of this our school, I've been saying it, I've been repeating it, that one of the dividends of democracy is what? Sound, standard and competitive education.
Yes.
If you don't have it, you cannot. That's why if you see a government that having many criminals, many of them did not go to school.
True.
Because they didn't have the opportunity. Even some of them that had the opportunity, they abused it. Now look at right now as I'm talking to you now, you still want a prisoner in Ghana. They are protesting because of forensic audit of voters register. Our own here, we are not talking about the 12. We are talking about the foodstuff. But the question is, I'm trying to find out, if oil is being produced, crude oil is produced in Nigeria, is it not healthy for our National Assembly members to rally around and say how they can cushion the effect with the Dangote so that this flow will come back to the normal thing that is balanced and maybe 500 to average Nigeria? Look at the workers. Many workers are going to, some people they go 3 times in a week or once in a week. And the way the workers behave this time, my sister is very, if I tell you what I got at between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock this morning, you start laughing. I tell one but coming for that place, I'll pay you 50 naira. If you see the way the boys knock me, I laugh. Now, do you know some environment in Nigeria now? Some area boys are going, if you dress well, around better perfume that will bring a beat, people will thank you before you come back now. They will wait for you to collect their food or to tell you give us our money. And if it is their money they give you, it's the problem. We have just wanted this education make it very, very sound and standard for Nigeria. Good morning, Mazu Krafo.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. All right,
morning.
thank you so much for your contribution, sir. Thank you so much. Now let's quickly touch on Edo State. I just realized that we have just like 5 more minutes.
Oh my God.
It's 4 days to Edo elections.
Yes.
What are you expecting? What are the dynamics you're expecting from Edo State? Because I know Edo comes up in the news literally every day.
Yes.
Not now that elections are coming up. Do you think it's going to be peaceful? What do you expect? What are going to be the dynamics of the elections?
There are clear indications that it will happen.
Okay.
But of course it will have its buzzballs on both sides. They've had enough drag.
Okay.
I'll be in Edo tomorrow.
We will definitely be calling to find out what's happening.
I can assure you that both the 3 candidates are very strong, but I would rate, as of today, I will rate them at Asweb having like call it 48%.
Okay.
I will rate Okpebulo at 42%.
Okay.
Which comes to like 90, and I'll rate Akpata at 10%.
Why 10% for Akpata? Labour Party is not to be joked with.
Yes,
right?
yes.
There are a lot of sentiments around Labour Party, away from who the candidates could be.
And I think it will pan out the way I've said. But I've kept it at this statistics.
48, 42.
48, 42, 10%.
At 10%.
So that's where I keep it at.
Okay.
As of today, there are dynamics that have pushed over the weekend. The REC being called out as a wicked man, and I told them it's very late. He was made REC more than 1 year ago. You didn't shout then. You are shouting.
And I already said
you're
shouting
shouting 1 week.
Change.
You're making shouting 1 week to the election. It's not going to change anything. If you change that now, the APC or whoever can now begin another shout at whoever you bring. So that doesn't change that. We saw the peace accord, though they didn't sign. We saw them shaking each other and gisting and laughing to each other. So I beg all the people who work for politicians, the politicians are not fighting themselves. Please don't fight for them. They met each other in the peace accord. They didn't slap each other. They shook hands. They hugged each other. They snapped together. They were laughing. They were gisting. Aswe and Oshumole, that have had the highest drag, were gisting for more than 2 minutes on camera.
You know, they said he slammed him with a 20 billion naira
Yes,
suit.
yesterday. But that's after they hugged. So you see, that's why we've looked at it. I think Aswe would come out with the victory. I've met him personally. I've met him 3-4 times. I've talked to him for 2 hours straight.
So what about the other candidates?
Yeah, APC has done the best at galvanizing themselves. PDP has not done the, I can't give them that. They've not done the best at galvanizing themselves. They lost the support of Shuaibu. They lost Dan Obi. They lost the daughter, Omo Sesede, House of Rep. They lost Ehiyama. They've lost a lot of key people that
so how can
they could have galvanized.
Yes. How can that impact
together.
the elections? Because
of
if
course,
those
are votes. Those are votes, and people have their support.
Just like we look at the presidential elections, the way the PDP was divided against itself, and we saw what played out.
Yes. So
do you think
that's why I'm giving them at 42% as at today, meaning that if they don't hold ranks and shore up a few places where they are hot, their 42% can drop from 42% lower, but Labour Party cannot catch up. That's out of it. It is APC that can gain from that. So PDP needs to do some last-minute work in the next 2, 3, 4 days to remain in victory. I would put them at victory already now, but a slim margin. I expect APC to go to court. These are the things I expect. And that's still going to be trouble. So, but it's going to be a bit rough, but it will take place. We pray that there will be no loss of lives. So
what about INEC's readiness and maybe security?
The INEC is ready. The IG went there. He made a statement which, in my opinion, was political.
Okay.
The IG went to disband ESSN, Edo State Security Network.
Because they probably thought that the incumbent is going to take advantage of it.
Yes, but we also see that as the federal also trying to use the police alone to intimidate voters in the election. And the Edo Security Network was instituted by the State House of Assembly. Therefore, it is not under the purview of the police to ban. So that ban didn't work, which is a balancing of power. If ESN was banned, I would have given this election completely to APC. So I still retain my 48,
42, and 10%. All right, fingers crossed.
And then the fourth person will be NMPPP as Zerome.
All right, thank you very much for your time today, Engineer Toba Owojaiye. We will definitely be looking out for these statistics you've actually given us for Edo State. Thank you so much. All right, viewers, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. I really hope you enjoyed yourself. I'll see you again later. I am Olamide Alhassan, and that's bye for now.